All right, welcome back to the channel. So Jake Paul and Triller did an amazing job on their show. In my opinion, they blew away Dazn, Fox, and ESPN programming and are definitely the wave of the future. At least I hope that they are, because that show was absolutely fantastic between Paul Logan and Askren. But let's talk about that and what I hope it means for boxing in this video. All right, welcome back to the chat. Welcome back to the channel. So, the second time around with Triller, I made sure I caught the fight. Triller is a new boxing platform that is putting on these mix of celebrity fights with entertainers and professional fighters on an app called Triller. The first fight that they put out was a fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., and I overlooked the fight. I thought to myself, like, man, I'm not into this. Jake Paul is a YouTuber. This other guy, I don't know who he is or exactly who was it before. Or no, I think originally, yeah, it was the whole YouTuber thing. They were doing it on YouTube and then he did it somewhere else. And I was like, man, I'm not really into it. I wound up watching one of them and it was a good event, but it wasn't something where I was going to say, yeah, this is something I'm going to do on a regular basis, is watch these type of YouTube fights, because it's just not good boxing, And as somebody that considers himself a hardcore boxing fan, it's really kind of hard for me to stomach things that really take hard shifts away from the way that I'm used to seeing boxing. And I'm used to seeing boxing being taken very seriously in the ring, right? Where you're seeing guys fight and you know for sure that these are the best fighters and that you're getting world-class fights. So, I just wasn't that into it. But in the fight last night, because I was like, well, I saw how much Triller, first of all, what the pay-per-views did with Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson, and then I actually went back and saw some tape on the fight. So I was like, man, that was actually a really good fight. I heard a lot about really good things about the commentary, so I was like, man, I missed really all the good commentary. So I wanted to make sure that this time around that I didn't miss anything. So I made sure that I bought it, and I got to tell you, man, I was absolutely satisfied with that. I think I paid $50, and it was worth every penny of it, man. Now, again, I'm not talking about the fight between Jake Paul and Askren. I think he's a WWE fighter. I'm not talking about that. Those guys were, that was just purely entertainment. It was kind of like, a beef between two guys that are really well known, and a lot of people know them. And to see these guys squash a beef over, and be able to make what I think one guy made 600,000, or I think, yeah, like Jake Paul made him in 600,000. The other guy made 400,000 or 500,000. So, I wasn't big into that fight, but, it wasn't going to hold me back from supporting Regis Prograis. And then, of course, the other things about it was, all of the music and because I was like, in the last one, people were saying that one of the best things about it was that there was the musical acts that were involved. So this time I thought, all right, well, let me look at it and see the musical acts. Man, I wasn't big into the first kind of rock guitar guy, nor was I into Justin Bieber. But all the other musical acts, I was like, wow, I probably would have paid $50. I don't know if I would have paid $50 for it, but this is worth at least $40 of this when you consider that you get all of that commentary. And that's where I think, that the big difference was between the Fight Club fight and what you typically get in the fights that you get to see on regular pay-per-view or the ESPN cards or the Zone cards. Because honestly, man, it just, like I said, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but when you see things that just work better, you got to say, hey, man, it's just clearly that this is just a better way to do it, man. Just no other way around it. Triller, by whether they stumbled upon it, whether they took different pieces of what they saw going on YouTube, which I think they did, especially with the commentary. I think that the commentary was almost designed the way that you see a lot of YouTubers that watch the fights and do the commentary on their page with multiple people, right? You have people cracking jokes. You have a lot of, people are drinking and doing other things while they're watching it. And a lot of times, when people do that on YouTube, you'll often hear, because I used to do a lot of those on YouTube. I don't do them very much anymore because, there's just a lot of other people that do them. So I was like, I'm not going to do that many of them. But I can tell you for sure that there are many people that would watch me calling the fights or would listen to me calling the fights while they have the fight on the TV screen, and they would just turn the volume down on the commentary, right? That was happening from the times that, you had Larry Merchant, and what was the guy's name that was Larry Merchant? Larry Merchant and God doggone, whatever the commentator, Jim Lampley, right? Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant. Man, for years people were like, look, man, I can't stand this HBO commentary. It's so biased. They're just tearing down the black fighter all the time, complaining about the fight the whole time. So what people would do is they would just turn the volume down on it and listen to somebody on YouTube call it. Or even before that, before there were people calling it on YouTube, what people would do is they would get I would get the illegal stream from BT. I would have the HBO fight, or not BT, what do you call it? Box, it's like whatever it is, like Box Office or something like Box Nation. Yeah, they have the Box Nation program on the UK. So I would get a stream for the Box Nation UK telecast, and I would listen to them call the fight, but watch it on my TV for HBO because, you get a better picture and, you can get it on your, you could get it on your big TV or whatever, but you get the better commentary with Box Nation because they would just tell you what's going on in the fight. You'd have 2 or 3 people that might be disagreeing, but it was just a lot better commentary. So it seems like Triller, at least in the commentary, caught on to that, if not by design, by accident, by just having people there that are watching the fight like regular people, saying what they think about the fights like regular people would talk about it, but at the same time still have somebody there like a Al Bernstein who knows how to, who's trained and has a lot of experience in telling the audience what's happening as far as the punches that are being thrown and what the fighters are doing on the ring. I don't know if you call it the color commentary or whatever his particular job is. He played the straight man and kept the conversation, in the ring, for the most part. But then there was also, Snoop Dogg that was just cracking jokes, and Mario Lopez who would come in, and Mario Lopez would kind of also be, kind of like Larry Merchant, and not Larry Merchant, just kind of like Al Bernstein, and be more serious about what's going on in the fight and the technique that's being used. Man, I just thought it was just a much more enjoyable way to listen to it because you even had Ray Flores, who was the commentator, and he was actually cussing and acting like he was having a good time going back and forth with Snoop Dogg. So, even though the fights weren't that good, right, the actual fight program, the program itself was so much better than I'm used to. I was like, it's worth the money. So just imagine then if we can get to the point where Triller can put that type of show on, but they're with major boxers, right, and major fights that people really want to see, right, where you could have, where the entertainment doesn't necessarily have to, carry the whole show. But all in all, man, I can't tell you, man, enough. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a great job, and I'll definitely be buying their next card. The next card where it is really a big major fight being, or at least major fighter headlining is the Teofimo Lopez Kambosos fight. And shoot, they might look like they could be making a Teofimo Lopez Regis Prograis fight. So anyway, all in all, very happy with the card. You let me know what you think with the event, not necessarily the fights, obviously. Even though that pimp slap competition they had, you can't tell me that wasn't funny. Anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.